Hello, one and all! It's my view of The Promised Neverland Season 2, Episode 10. And despite the criticism from a rather significant and vocal section of the fan base, I actually really did enjoy this episode, and it got me super excited to see how it all comes to a close next week. But hate is as good a place as any, so let's talk about what people hated. That would probably be Vincent's betrayal, the hot air balloons, the citizens' revolts, and Isabella. Now, first off, I will agree with the haters a little bit on this. Vincent's betrayal didn't make a whole lot of sense when I first watched the episode, but after watching it a few times, my best guess is that he did this to make sure that all the demons were outside, or as many of the demon guards as possible were outside to deal with their invasion. That way, Emma and the rest of them could focus on infiltration, while Norman's subordinates took out as many of the guards as they could. I think that was the point of Vincent, warning Petey, telling him they were on their way, so Petey would send all the guards outside. I think that's the best guess I come up with for that. But speaking of the hot air balloons, a lot of people are wondering, okay, where exactly did they get like 30 or 40 hot air balloons? I mean, I think we see a scene earlier on where they find a cache of supplies set up by William Minerva to, lend them support to help them, but why he would include hot air balloons in there, I have no idea. I literally cannot imagine a scenario besides this one where hot air balloons would help them in their escape, their survival, or anything like that. So weird, especially because demons were easily able to shoot them out of the sky just by throwing spears. So very, very weird. And while we're on that subject, I have absolutely no idea how they made it so the demons only attacked the hot air balloons that had no one in it. I mean, I'm guessing that those were just the ones that were sent out first, so, they were the ones that were struck down first, and then Emma and the rest of them were on, like, the later hot air balloons, but still, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. Next up, we have the Citizens' Revolt, the People's Revolution! And I will definitely agree with the critics a little bit on this. I mean, for one thing, it seems utterly ridiculous that Muji could create an army this large this quickly without anybody noticing. Seriously, the royal family, the farm system, the guards, nobody noticed several thousand demons up and leaving their homes, their cities, and all, culminating on Gracefield. Nobody saw this coming. There were no, scouts coming up. There's no spies. There's no Queen soldiers who saw this and said, I should probably report this. Nothing. Nobody noticed. I mean, seriously? I will definitely give them more of a pass on them all having weapons, though. I mean, that does make sense. For a lot of them, it's just, farming equipment, hoes and sickles, stuff like that. For others, let's not forget, this is a world with feral demons, where your loved ones could turn feral almost at any minute. So it's basically like living in The Walking Dead. Everyone's going to own a weapon of some sort. The bigger issue, though, is probably the fact that, even though these demons don't need to eat humans, they want to eat humans. Humans are freaking delicious for them. It's like veal, lobster, Kobe beef, all mixed together. So it seems almost impossible that none of these demons are planning on, biting at a few Gracefield kids while they're there. Oh, that's terrifying. Though let's not forget, even Sonju himself said that he was planning on eating the descendants of Emma, Ray, and all the rest of them, because they wouldn't be farm children, they'd be free-range children. And I think he still has that plan a little bit in mind, because he definitely seemed annoyed when Mujka and Emma were talking about how they're such good friends. Like, he's saying, don't become friends with my food. Oh, that was definitely disturbing. Not really sure what his plan is in the next episode, but I can definitely see him trying to take a last bite before they leave. Knowing Emma, though, I would not be surprised if she willingly offered up an arm or a leg to him. Oh, I love it. But really, though, the first thing I thought when I saw this revolution was, I'm amazed this did not happen in the manga, because the manga actually did a rather poor job of showing how the demons are suffering, how the farmers basically turned them all into slaves, which I definitely think that's something the anime improved on quite a bit. But, there's like one conversation in the whole manga, whole first 150 chapters of the manga, about how the farm system's bad, for the demons at least. And then at the end of the series, all the demons are like, you know what, let's get rid of the farms. No more human meat. Yay! And it was just rather poorly written, but whatever. Speaking of things I definitely wish had been in the manga, Phil's back! Yay! I mean, he was in the manga at the end of the manga, but that was it. He didn't actually play any role. He just reunited with Emma, and it's like, yay, Phil's back. All right, moving on. Though actually that isn't technically true, it's almost worse than that. There's this one scene in the manga where PD goes to visit Phil, and it means absolutely nothing. It means a super tense moment, Phil seeing PD for the first time, gets super freaked out, and that's it. We never go back to it, it's never explained what they talked about, it's never really given any significance whatsoever. I mean, I think the point of it was, just for PD to get some information about Emma and Ray, who they were as people, what they're most likely to do, but it just was not explained. I mean, even up to like last couple chapters, everyone's like, oh, I bet Phil's a captive. I bet Petey has Phil in a cage right now. He's going to use it to try and threaten Emma into surrendering, something like that. No, nothing like that ever happened. It was really, really weird. But here we actually get to see Phil and his, reaction to all this. And just, oh my God, the utter heartbreak when he realizes that they're all about to be shipped out and what that means. They're all about to be served as food. And just this utter terror as he's marched, to the gate and then closes behind him. He realizes it's too late. I'm dead. They're going to kill me. And then he sees Jemmy. Yay, Jemmy. Oh, God. And he realizes, they came for him. They didn't forget about him. They're actually going to save him. And he starts crying. It's so freaking adorable. I love it. But then, we find out that Emma has a mission for him. Gets all serious. Like, yes, if Emma wants me to do this, I can do this. I have no idea how exactly he does it. Seriously. He goes to his brother Simon, whispers something to him, and that somehow convinces all of them to make a run for it from their mother, from the sisters, into this pitch black, tunnel that leads some super high-tech base full of demons, and I have no idea how any of this happened. Seriously. I have no idea what exactly Phil whispered to them, how he managed to convince all of them just to make a run for it like that. But hey, good on you, Phil. Good for you. I mean, it definitely does not seem like Phil told anyone else about the demons because they all seem super happy to be shipped out. So yeah, they definitely did not know what was waiting for them, once that gate closed. But, I'm just really glad that Phil had a role to play. He had something to do in this episode. I really just like that. And then just, oh my God, him reuniting with Emma was so freaking adorable. The tears. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. But speaking of reunions, I'm also seeing some complaints online about, it seems so unrealistic that Isabella could convince all the sisters to turn against the farm. Really? Really? None of these sisters, none of these moms, not even Isabella, is in the farm because they want to be. Seriously, they were raised as food, then a bomb was planted in their chest, and they were forced to raise other children as food. That's not a happy lifestyle for anyone. I mean, seriously, at any moment, the sisters know they could be shipped out as food. They could be killed. So yeah, no surprise whatsoever that Isabella managed to convince them to, turn away from that, to betray the farm system, betray Petey. Especially just knowing who Isabella is and how convincing she can be. There's actually an epilogue chapter of the manga that shows how she starts recruiting the sisters, and oh, I love it, I love it. It's so intense, so terrifying, it's so Isabella. And then she goes on full tsundere mode, saying to Emma, I'm not doing this to be nice to you. I'm just doing it because our interests happen to align here. It's not like I'm, want to do this to protect you or anything. Oh, that was actually kind of adorable. I do get why she did it, though, She doesn't really feel like she deserves to be called mom after everything she's done, after, raising kids to be food, and she also broke Emma's leg. Let's not forget about that. That was a terrifying scene. That was such a terrifying scene. Oh, I loved it. But, then Emma still responds, thanks, Mama, and, she smiles because Emma can still call her that because Emma is such a good person, such a forgiving person. And then Emma reveals that she befriended some demons, which... Oh God, I just love the absolute look of shock on Isabella's face when she sees this. Like, really, Isabella? This is Emma we're talking about. She could befriend a rabid squirrel. And speaking of rabid squirrel, she then attempts to befriend Petey, which... Oh, of course she did. Of course she did. That, again, should not be any surprise. This is Emma we're talking about. I mean, I said in the last video that Demon Emma apologizing to Norman for everything that her people had done to him. That was so Emma. This is so Emma. Trying to forgive Petey, trying to take his hand in friendship. I mean, now she's forgiven Isabella, the one who raised her as food, and she's forgiven the demons, the ones who were trying to eat her as food, so she's forgive, Petey, the one who is in charge of getting the food to the demons. It makes sense. Petey is also just as much a slave to destiny as any of the rest of them are, though I'm not going to talk too much about that because it definitely seems like that's something that's going to get talked about more in the next episode, but, he really did flinch when Emma said she was going to destroy destiny, and then he had that line at the end about how peace has only been created by the Ratchet clan's hundreds and hundreds of years of hard work. Definitely something you should remember going into the next episode. So yeah, the question really is, can Emma win over Petey, and will they all go to the human world together? I mean, I'm also rather curious about this room itself. I mean, the elevator did not work when Emma wanted it to. Is that simply because Petey disabled it, or is there something else going on here? Because there is a rather detailed design on the ceiling. It shows the position of the moon, the stars in the sky, all of that. Is it the elevator can only work at certain times, like at midnight, or when the stars are in a certain alignment, or something like that? I mean, I'm not sure. That definitely seems like it'd be something, that William Minerva would want to include in the note they gave to the kids, some sort of instructions on how to work the elevator. Rather curious about that. So yeah, let me think all this down below. What do you think is going to happen in the next episode? Do you think Petey is going to take Emma's hand? Why do you think Petey acts the way he does? Do you think any of the demons are going to try and get a last snack, try and take a bite at Emma and her friends? I mean, I could definitely see Sonju attempting that. He really, really wants to eat human meat again. Oh, poor Sonju. And, what do you think about the other farms? Because let's not forget, this isn't a one-farm system. There are other farms, other kids being raised as food. Emma's kind of just, abandoning them to save her own family, save Gracefield, which feels very much like something Emma would not do, so I'm curious about that. And what do you think's waiting for them in the human world? Do you think it's been destroyed? Do you think it's okay? Do you think there's war? Do you think there's chaos? Do you think they'll willingly accept, farm children, or do you think they'll be shot immediately? I mean, how exactly is the human world going to respond to finding out about demons? I mean, do you think the human world even knows about demons? That's a rather interesting question, because let's not forget, in all the books about Gracefield, from the human world, none of them mention demons, so it could definitely be something, that's basically been, the stuff of myth. It happened thousands of years ago. If it happened at all, it's not really there. The demons don't actually exist. Something like that could definitely, be interesting. But yeah, let me know all this down below. Be sure to like, share, this video. Until then, peace!